What up YouTube, Webhead Mike here, and Zenkaikon LARP Day 2 ended with a session called Parliament. As you might suggest, there was a lot of talking, mediation, dealing, what could have been boring stuff, but very essential to what had to happen going forward. And rather fortuitous for my character, Suzaku, the birds were the most organized in this manner, so they were the ones who had the most mediation to deal with. Now, we had to think about how can we pull resources together for an event to bring everyone together? Now, I had a feeling about the people who were running this, the people that were playing in this, how they think, and I thought, what's the one thing that always happens in a modern day comic book that I don't like but I keep seeing happening? Mealtime. Always talking about food. So I thought, okay, is there a way I can rope food into this? And then I remembered Suzaku Kudarugi in Code Geass Season 1 used a nightmare frame to make a colossal pizza. And then that also got me thinking, what if we made a colossal pizza that each faction of animal would contribute a topping to, and we would just, quarter it off? That got a lot of people thinking. Some of the people weren't quite sure what I was talking about, so I showed them the clip of Suzaku in the Ganymede nightmare frame, spinning the dough and getting it ready. And it's like a 15-second clip. That hooked them. And then people were also trying to think, well, wait a minute, why is a human getting involved in these matters? And then I immediately shot that down by saying, well, yes, I am a human. I am not some anthropomorphized animal. I am not some sentient animal. I am not a hybrid or anything like a werewolf. I am just a human. And therefore, wouldn't that make me a very impartial figure? And I would like to be an honorary bird in that regard, in that I am, quite frankly, in a neutral party that is interested in only the well-being of all. And then when some of the birds were deliberating, and that's when the game master who was running this, who has run previous ones for me back when I was in college, that's when he took people aside before saying, wait a minute, what's his name mean? What does Suzaku's name mean? Sure enough, when you look it up in Japanese, it means phoenix bird, fiery bird, bird of rebirth, things like that. So they said, okay, we're down with this. We're going to have you, Suzaku, be the chief creator of this pizza pie, and you're going to get other people to do this too. Well, then that also made some other people begin to think, well, wait a minute, is there just one thing we can do? And then that brought some other people to think about, ooh, what about a shared incantation ritual that everyone could contribute something to? And then that's when the game master said, you could have two, but that might cause some division and pull between the two, but if you had three, maybe it would unite. And immediately I thought, did this guy just watch Rings of Prime? That was an awful series. I mean, but hey, the idea would be more like if you had legs on a stool, I guess. And if you have only two, you're really only going to teeter one way or the other. But if you have three, at least you have 3 points of contact. And I know my days in sailing, you would be most stable if you had 3 points of contact while moving on a boat. So I guess that was the same principle here. And that's when other people began thinking about, okay, what's another thing we can do in addition to that would keep everything stable? And that's when Master Splinter came up with a martial arts tournament. With each race offering a competitor, and everyone having at least one neophyte and one master being involved in it. So that was cool. We got that ball rolling. We had all the resources set aside. My partner in this was, let me make sure I'm getting this right, a hamster named Circa, I think? Anyway, sentient animal, intelligent, able to help me pilot the mech more effectively for this measure. because I mean, can't do these things alone. And I want, you know, all right, this time there is no Princess Euphemia to distract Suzaku, so he should be better, but might as well line things up the best of success and foster cooperation between more and more people. So alas, that's how that was set up. That was the last event of the day 2 before we would then get to the actual preparation for the rituals, their processes, and make sure they were firing on all cylinders. There weren't any people trying to do yet another project or trying to do something else or a fourth thing, because we already have 3 things. We only have so many resources, and we can't afford any sabotage. Granted, it's all in good intent, but it would still technically be sabotage because it would hinder the ability of these other events. And that's where we were. Everyone locked in and ready with these 3 things: the pizza collaboration, the shared incantation ritual, and the martial arts tournament. And then the whole rest of the day was just people trying to figure out who was going to do what, who was going to be where. And that was it for the day, yeah. All right. I'm not going to go on anymore with that. It's been about 6.5 minutes, but I thank you for your time. Please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, Webhead Mike, out.